Okay, so in video games, you have characters that aren't really main characters. They just move. They're just in the matrix.
Correct.
They're just there for our entertainment. Some people I feel like are caught up in a matrix of doing the same thing every single day until they die. And unfortunately, some of them never really wake up and really enjoy life.
I knew that earlier, and not focus on partying, and trying to catch up with the lifestyle instead of really focusing on being around people that actually want to elevate, that are building their business, that are successful.
You know what? That's why I left talking out publicly for the gurus, but now it's time to speak.
For sure.
To clear all these fake gurus.
Look, we having real conversation real time. We ain't editing shit.
I got money on my mind, I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line, unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily, all I want is dubs, you know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper, all I know is run money marathons. I got money on my mind, I'm just trying to get some dough. I ain't picking up my line, unless it's money on the phone. Gotta get it on the daily, all I want is dubs, you know what I'm on. I've been chasing after paper, all I know is run money marathons.
Welcome back to the Digital Billionaires Club podcast, where we have real conversations with real people in real time. Listen, today we have two special guests. We have Miss Haiti over here, Sandra Love. Give it up for her. And then we got my boy, none other than Ace. Some may call him the credit specialist, the funding specialist, the Mr. I have 30 businesses, you know what I'm saying? We got Ace in the building.
31.
You know what I mean? Clap it up for your boy. So I appreciate y'all coming down today, man. I just wanted to have, it's 2025, and I just wanted to have a real conversation with some real people, man, because, 2024 was definitely a year of experience, whether it was hilly, it was up and down, right? You had your ups, you had your downs. But before we get into that, I'll start, women first. So Sandra, talk to the people a little bit about your journey, who you are, what you do, and things of that nature.
Well, I am former Miss Haiti International 2018. I am also an entrepreneur. I have a boutique actually in Miami, 9115 Northwest.
Oh, yeah. Shout it out. Talk to him.
And I do also have like an online boutique as well. But 2024 was a little tough. I don't know what it was in the waters. I don't know, but it definitely was challenging. I do motivational speaking, so I do speaking engagement. But I found myself in 2024. How would I say? I had to go back and start revamping myself. I don't know if that makes sense.
Rebranding.
Like more so rebranding, yeah. Rebranding, but also it was my learning, like where I'm learning certain things, learning things about myself, not necessarily my business, because at the end of the day, I've learned that whatever whatever decisions I make, anything I do within myself has a lot to do with how I treat my business. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to grow within myself and do some self-development, like inner work within myself. I had a lot of character building moments. That's the word for me. Character building moments is the word for 2024.
Well, first of all, how long have you been an entrepreneur?
Oof. I would say my actual break, where I actually went full throttle, 2016.
2016, okay.
2016.
And what would you say was like, not the peak, but like a point where you're like, yo, I'm making money, I'm really doing this, like this is really moving. When would you say that happened for you?
I would say that happened, 2023.
Okay.
2023 was not that bad for me. It was actually a very, good year for me. I got certain things back financially. I had things in order. I had a plan. Everything was literally like building. So 2023 was actually a better year for me, like for real.
And then what do you think happened from 2023 to 2024 that really affected you? Was it something in business? Was it something that was Maybe some past trauma had came up and you were dealing with. Like, what was it in 2024 to kind of switch things around for you?
It was more personal, like my personal life, family. If I want to clarify, it's more family. So I would say, was it around my birthday, April? Because my birthday's 4/20, Aries / Taurus.
Let's do it.
But around the week before my birthday, my father figure, godfather, like literally the best man, like we were going back and forth with chemo. Like, no, actually he didn't even get to do really chemo because he went in for one thing and found out he was stage 4. What's it called? Gastro cancer with the stomach cancer. And so it was like he was there talking to me normally, and then all of a sudden I'm in and out the hospital. I was one of his proxies, so I was trying to make sure he was okay, and he literally like left me, and that put me in a funk. And then following in June, around June 11, my mom house and her husband caught on fire.
Damn.
Exactly. So their house caught on fire and they lost everything. And so everyone had to move in my house. And so it was like little stuff like that. And then ending in December, just found out my daughter has epilepsy. They diagnosed her with epilepsy, and because she was catching seizures like crazy. And so I had character building moments, and it kind of changed my whole perception on life and how I should attack now my business life, and being more appreciative and having more grace towards the people around me. And so now my perception when it comes to now leveling my business, now I know how I should move and how and how would I say it, more appreciative. Sometimes we take things for granted. You have this business, and then sometimes, we take it for granted. We don't do nothing with it because we think it's still going to be there. We get comfortable. We start making money and we get comfortable, and not understanding that life can happen. And just like that, everything is gone. So 2024 was like more so personal, and that kind of affected my business a little bit.
It's crazy how you say like comfortable, right? Because I feel like in business, life, you're going to go through shit, right?
Correct.
Some years crazier than others, but it's funny how I find even myself, we get comfortable with how we're doing business, and then when something happens, we don't have enough oomph in our business for backup, because let's say you're comfortable, then you have 2 bad months. It's like, holy shit, now I'm in panic mode because I wasn't elevating sky high to the point where I could afford these bad months.
Exactly. Just like if someone says, like, for you to open like a successful business, like restaurants and lounges, you have to be prepared like 6 months to a year, like find backup financially, like where you can, if it doesn't make it, like you can still run. So my thing now is more so focusing on strategizing where I can have that finance support. So if I have those issues, thank God, all those things that happened, it didn't push me to where I am like literally done, I was able to, because of how I moved before in 2023, I was able to stay like on a straight line. If anything, I don't know how to say, more regular. Like, it was not, I didn't lose, but then I didn't gain. It was just more standstill, like that. And so now I'm trying to rebuild those, and I'm using all those character building moments from 2024 and applying it to my new 2025 life, because it's gonna be different. It's gonna be better.
You know what I found that always worked for me? Every time something super traumatic happened, that gave me either a bunch of anger or a bunch of sadness or a bunch of emotion, I kind of came up with this thing where like I bottle up all this emotion and I try to put it towards one specific thing. So I remember like one year, I had got robbed for all my equipment, right? And it was everything I ever owned. It was like $50,000 worth of equipment in the car. And these guys in LA just went in my car, popped the trunk, and took everything I ever owned.
No way.
So I was so angry. Like, I'm to the point where like I'm calling people. I'm like, yo, like I'm ready to take something out. Like, and that's not even me. Like, I'm come from the hood and all that, but like I'm not, I don't just take people out. But I was in that mode of like, yo, I'm ready to smoke something, like, you know what I'm saying? And because I was so angry, I was full of emotion, full of rage, and because I'm like, damn, why me? Like, I'm such a good person, and I give back, and I help people. That's all I do. How could this happen to me? And then I realized, like, yo, how the amount of anger that I have, I could put that towards grinding and towards building this company. I would be unstoppable, and that's exactly what happened. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I put it out there, and literally that month probably was my biggest month of the whole entire year. You know what I'm saying? So.
And I like what you just said, because you can either give up or like put that energy into something, you know? And so that was my mindset. Is either all this that's transpired, I can literally give up, because let's be for real. We have those emotions that come and say, you know, just give up, let it go. You don't even want to try no more. You get discouraged. Like, you just don't want to move. You just don't want to do anything. And so, but then you have a choice. It's either, there's two choices in your hand, and you have to choose, okay, do I give up and just let everything just die there, or do I just suck it up and make it happen
100%.
and move forward?
But some people need events to happen to activate that. So that's why sometimes you have to let them go through it. Not your situation, but it is a good for your situation.
Yeah.
Because it activated the hustle in you,
Correct.
the hunger.
Right. 100%. It definitely did. So, you know, speaking of hustle, speaking of hunger, you know, I feel like you've, you know, had a lot of business ventures in your life. So talk to people, tell the people a little bit about yourself and how you got started just in business in general.
Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been in business. Started my entrepreneurship since the age of 10 years old. I had a car wash and lawn
At 10
service.
years old, you had your own business.
What?
Bro, at
10
10
years
years old,
old.
I was stealing fruit roll-ups from my mom's refrigerator, bro. Like, what are you talking
10
about?
years old, 10 years old.
That's crazy.
So I started that, and I used to clean offices and still go to school. You know, it was elementary school at the
That's
time.
crazy.
What?
I was a serial. My mom like, no, you gotta stay home. No, but it's a family business. So I used to clean offices at the time.
But as a kid, like, did you want to clean offices or
No, I want to do it. They didn't. They wanted me to stay home.
So what made
you want to be
I-
out?
It's 3 a.m. I'm cleaning offices.
What motivated you at 10?
Yeah.
I always touch money.
Okay.
Always touch
So you like, I'm not gonna be broke at no age.
money. No.
Say no more.
No.
Okay. So all right. So you started doing the car wash, started cleaning business. When did it transition into, you know, your business venture that you have now?
You can ask anybody from high school, they'll tell you I always had a briefcase. I went to school with the briefcase. I never wore a book bag. I always had a briefcase. I always had a business mindset. Always wear suits, you know.
So that's been your thing since
Versace.
forever.
That's always been me. I always had to dress clothes.
So that was like your form of manifestation. Like, I'm gonna carry this briefcase because I know I'm a business owner. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be successful.
I always watch, you know, those movies, you know, those. And I always had that mindset.
Okay, the
of
gangster
watching
movies,
those.
the
I
business
don't know
movies.
about gangster,
Okay.
but you know those movies, you know.
Got you. We're gonna keep it there. Those movies.
And that's where I started, you know, watching things and say, this is what I want to be.
So you have a lot of knowledge about, like, you know, business in general, business structure, credit repair, business funding. Where did that start coming into play?
When I was 18 years old and I was in the Delta Sky Lounge. I had my Amex card since 2005.
So you're not a 2020 baby, like you're
No,
not a 2020
2005.
What?
I wish I had
2005.
2005. I'll bring it to you.
The original
I'll show you the
Amex.
receipts. Original Delta Sky miles. And we was just flying, you know, let's go to Atlanta. This is back then. It had companion coupons. I didn't even know what it was. You know? I didn't even know what it was. And I brought my first apartment building when I was 18. Because
Your first apartment building.
My first apartment building. I was already hustling money, always save money. It's something called ESO. Or Susu. Some people call it ESO.
okay,
Susu.
got you. Okay.
So when I was young, I always stacking up money. Everybody would tell you I always had something going on.
So how important is it for people? Because I feel like now a lot of us are just learning about, you know, getting business funding, how important credit is. Like, but you already knew that from the beginning. So, but you know, and you taught wifey about credit. That's how we met.
Yeah.
So what made you get into, like, yo, I have to get credit right. I have to have business funding. I have to really structure business in the right way.
It's the environment of who I was always with. Even though I was at 18, I was with people that's already 35, 40.
With the knowledge.
With the knowledge. So I never was around with.
You hung around kids.
Never around kids. When people playing football, basketball, that was.
You was buying apartment buildings.
Yeah, I was buying apartment buildings.
That's
When they was trying to figure out what they're gonna do over here, I used to buy everybody lunch in the spill out. It would be pizza. I buy boxes of pizzas, boxes of sodas, ice cream. That's me. And it was a little group of us, and we had that mindset.
So look, going into 2025, and this will be a question for everybody. How important is business structure and funding and getting your credit together?
A lot of people talk about business structure. One thing you always need is a mentor. That's one thing. When I was employed at my job at, I think I was like 16 years old. I was there for like 16, 17 because I was in OJT. It's like on-the-job training.
Okay.
So I had to get a job.
Yeah.
But I already had my own job. I had my own business at the time, but I had to get a job.
Got you. On paper.
On paper for the school. And then one thing Don Bailey taught me was perseverance. In every meeting he always talked about perseverance. Starting something and finishing it. In every meeting we always had. So that being said, with perseverance, you start something and you finish it. Even if you don't finish it, you sell a business. Like if some people start something, they'll have a business, instead of selling the business, they sell the furniture instead of the entire business. They'll sell equipment instead of selling the business with the phone number. The phone number is the main money. You can buy phone numbers. So it's for example, if it's a furniture store, I'll go to the furniture store that just closed down, or call 401 and do a listings and figure out who just closed down their business. They're going out of business sale. What are they going to do with the phone number? You offer them a good $5,000, depending how much traffic
And why
it
is that phone number so valuable?
It's the connection. You take that phone number, you port it into your number, that what you already got going on.
Damn, I never thought about that. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
It's a lot of tricks that I teach
something.
you.
Okay.
We're going to talk.
So as far as business structure, right? So how does one talk to me about, because I'm new to learning how to structure my business the proper way. So how does one structure business to go get some money from the bank?
It's not a conversation in one episode.
Okay,
but
give me some cliff notes.
First thing you need a mentor, because the first thing is the address.
Okay.
Address is the main important.
So you're saying the address of where your business is at matters.
Correct.
So the banks looks at, okay, if you're in a better area, you might get more funding. Is what you're saying, or?
That is correct. How do they do that? They use LexisNexis, and that creates the redlining. Something called redlining.
Okay.
Basically, if you're in a certain area, they won't give you any money. The same profile, if I use the same profile here versus somewhere in Alabama, it's two different. I get 10,000 here, but Alabama, I get 30,000 because the income in Alabama is low, but the profile is stronger.
Okay.
So down here, you're fighting more people. So what LexisNexis does, it gives them a radius. Whatever address you give them, they can detect from 2 blocks to 2 miles the median of how much the income is in that household.
And that matters how much money you get.
Correct.
So how do you feel about people that bootstrap? How do you feel about people that get it from the mud and use their personal money to build a business? Because now I'm learning that everybody's like, that's not how the proper way to build a business.
Well, that's the way I built my business.
Okay.
And then I had to reverse engineer it when I started opening other businesses.
For fast track growth.
For fast track growth, you
So
gotta have credit.
Okay, got it.
You gotta have credit, because at first I only knew cash is king. If you got cash, you're everything.
Okay.
But it's all about credit, because credit, while I still have the cash, I'm keeping the cash in the bank. I'm leveraging other people's money.
Correct.
With the credit.
All right, so look, in
It gives you
2025,
access.
how do we become successful? How do we eliminate the bad habits? how do we fast track ourselves to success in 2025? Because I ain't gonna lie, when I'm online scrolling, I always see people talk about how crazy 2024 was, from a personal standpoint, from a business standpoint, people didn't make as much money. I want to get your opinions on how can we set ourselves up for success in 2025.
I would say discipline. A lot of us lack discipline, and that plays a major role for someone to be successful when it comes to business. Consistency, like Ace said, consistency. You have to be consistent, literally, perseverance. And you definitely need a plan. You cannot do anything without a plan.
Also, with that, to piggyback what you're saying with the discipline, your habits.
There you go.
If you go to the club and spend $1,000 a week, go down to 200. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. But go down to 200. Just get one bottle. You don't need 10 bottles anymore.
One bottle. Yeah.
You get one bottle. Because what happens is that's what a susu is with the savings, right?
Yeah.
So if you're saving 200 every week, 200, 200, 200, 200, by the end of the year, you got $10,000 put up.
Got you.
And
And you didn't even know you even did that.
Yeah, it's not there.
So even if you leverage your, go buy a car and put it on Toro and do a susu or, other ways, but you have to learn how to, I can't even touch that money.
Right. I think one of the biggest things in going into 2025 is going to be, all right, first thing is mindset, right? You have to have the right mindset, and then it comes the game plan. But before any of that, the biggest thing about habits is what are we putting in our bodies to fuel our bodies, our mind, and our spirit. So, what are we waking up to? Are we waking up to, a glass of spring water and lemon? You know what I'm saying? What are we putting in our bodies as far as nutrition? Because a lot of times when we feel lazy, we feel stuck. A lot of times the shit we put in our bodies.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? And, not for nothing, but the food industry ain't doing us no favors. They put, shit, you could look at a regular chicken sandwich and they got 80,000 ingredients. What the fuck really is it? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, because in 2024 for me, I felt myself a little lazier at times and a little stuck at times. And I'm one of the people that get the fuck up and get to it. And I'm like, it's not, mindset is one thing, but goddamn, the shit I'm putting in my body is affecting my mindset. I got to change this shit to fuck. I got some lightning in me. So I started dealing with, getting more vitamins, more minerals, more. We're made out of electric. We're electric beings.
Correct.
So what's going to electrify our body? We need fucking food that's going to, food and water that's going to electrify our body. So that's one thing. And then, I tried to start meditating more, start breathing more, and those things led to a greater mindset. And then I put the game plan together.
I do agree with you because in 2024, I made the decision to stay off of carbs.
Okay.
Meaning rice. I stayed off of rice, like
How
literally.
about the pastas?
Rice and pastas. I know. And I love pasta. And, because of my culture, I'm Haitian. So, rice is like the main dish in every household. So I had to really have discipline to cut that out because I realized it was making me, I would get bloated and I wouldn't feel too good sluggish after I eat it. And so I started just keeping out of my diet. And then so I haven't had rice, because it built its carbs and it's high on carbs.
Dead carbs too.
Correct.
And you know what it is? Like Meek Mill says, levels to this shit, right? When it comes to nutrition, right? What I've learned is, because I've lost over 100 pounds, and in my journey, I learned okay, there's levels to the quality of food. So there's levels to pasta, right? Correct. There's the bullshit super processed pasta, but then there's the organic 2-ingredient pasta that is probably real Italian pasta. You know what I'm saying? That's way healthier. So there's different options. Of course, if you want to eliminate carbs for various reasons, but a lot of us eat the low quality shit. You know what I'm saying? And most of the stuff in the markets, the regular just supermarkets are bullshit. So when we start to learn to shop
enriched.
Right.
Yeah,
so when we start to go to farmers markets, when we start to go to Italian spots with real organic pasta made fresh, you really start to see a quality in your food, and it affects directly how you think. You know what I mean?
But what happens to the family or the people that can't afford that quality food? Because, it's not cheap eating right. Like, to eat right,
It's a lifestyle.
it's a life. I know you have to build your way up to that lifestyle. And so not everyone can afford going to Whole Foods and getting, some those things are just regular food is expensive. You get what I'm saying? If you go to the supermarket now, you buy 3 items, you're already at $100.
$80.
What?
You gotta
What did I buy?
You gotta kind of be rich just to go to the supermarket.
Yeah,
For real.
you got like literally, so you cannot fill up your house with just $300 anymore. $300, you'll get the main stuff that you need, but any other extra stuff, that's adding to the budget.
But you know what it is? It's a couple cool places that have some cheat codes. Like, Trader Joe's got a couple cheat codes in there where you can get produce for a little or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And farmers markets, you can get certain items for cheaper. Now, granted, if you want to get the high quality meats and stuff like that, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive. But it's just about paying attention to how much bullshit you put in our body. So look at everything like they're trying to take us out, right? From the toothpaste to the deodorant to the clothes we wear to the air
everything is
fucking with
cancerous.
your way.
Everything.
So the more you can eliminate, the better chances you have of just a better mindset of survival,
and
right?
living longer. Yeah.
100%. Because nowadays, you got everything causing cancer, bro. It's just like they just put out it's crazy. They just put out an article 2 days ago that said the doctor just said liquor. I thought this was a thing that everybody knew, but he said liquor is now causing a lot of cases in cancer nowadays, right? That's what the doctor just came out and said, and people are shocked. And in my head, I'm like, well, alcohol is technically, if we drink too much alcohol, I thought we all knew that it could lead to some, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's just about, first of all, let's talk about moderation.
Is it how much liquor you put in your system?
I think so. You know what I'm saying? Because, we all like to have a sip or two.
Like downsize?
But I'm saying, most of us, some of us be at the bar every damn day.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, and it's about balance. If you're drinking liquor, are you balancing out how much water you drink?
Correct.
You get what I'm saying? But some of us just, liquor be our first and last drink of the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm not a representative.
It's so true.
All right, so what we got planned for 2025? Because I remember you talked to me you called me about the vision board party and yeah. So talk to me about this experience we got coming out.
So this experience is gonna be life changing, I would say, to those who want to elevate and just do something different this year and actually wanting to win, actually focus on building themselves in their business. And so it's a vision board event party. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited, and we're gonna change it up a little bit. We're not gonna have like the regular schmegler,
regular
vision board where you just cut out and paste.
Yeah.
We're gonna
don't get me wrong. It's cool, but I get what you're saying. It's time for an experience that can really
step it up a notch.
Yeah,
correct.
Real transformation. And I think one of the biggest things in 2025 is going to be two things. One thing you said, mentorship. The second thing is going to be community, right? Who is in your community?
Correct.
Right? And the people you surround yourself with. They say...
your circle.
Show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
I agree. And that's one thing that will elevate you. And then that's one of the things, 2025, the only way of elevation is surrounding yourself with like-minded people. And not just like-minded in the same, like what you are... I would say same business or anything, but someone with the same mindset and trying to elevate, someone that's not trying to stay stagnated and just stay in one, there's people that just comfortable. They're okay with just doing a regular 9 to 5. Like they're just comfortable. They are okay with it. They don't believe in leveling up and moving on. They're okay with and then there's some people that I want it all. Like I want to grow.
You ever played a video game? You ever played like a Grand Theft Auto or something?
I've seen it played.
Okay, so in video games, you have characters that aren't really main characters. They just move. They're just in the matrix. They're just there for our entertainment. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So some people I feel like are caught up in a matrix of doing the same thing every single day until they die. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, some of them never really wake up and really enjoy life. Because I think life is meant to be enjoyed.
Yes.
I think we're here to actually have a great experience.
Exactly.
But in order to have a great experience, we got to unlock a couple cheat codes. Like in the beginning of a video game, you gotta put certain things into place to get to that level, right? To get to the next level. So number one, we gotta get a mentor. You know what I'm saying? Even if I paid tons of mentorships, and some of them worked out amazing, and some of them, you know, I like to say the 2020 gurus have. They I ain't gonna lie, some of them definitely is not who they say they are, but you know, I've met older gentlemen. I met older people that really. I'm not even just older, but I met people that really do their thing and that really they are who they say they are, and I've learned a lot. But if I would have paid for mentorship a lot sooner in my career, I feel like I would have gotten farther faster. So me learning the hard way, or through the gridiron was cool, but I would have fast tracked a lot of my bullshit if I would have just paid somebody that did it already. You know what I'm
And
saying?
not just mentorship too, surrounding yourself, creating a successful environment, meaning who your friends are. I wish that I knew that earlier, and not focus on partying and trying to catch up with the lifestyle instead of really focusing on being around people that actually want to elevate, that are building their business, that are successful. Like, you know, someone told me, if you're in a room with and you start hanging around with a bunch of millionaires, right? And you're the only one who's the regular, right? And this is your circle now. You're entered that world. Guess what happens? You become that millionaire too,
right?
Because it's a effect, like it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
So you have to change who you hang around. And I had to learn that, because some people that I used to hang around, my circle, was more takers than give. Like, the relationship doesn't benefit. There's nothing. It doesn't add up. So I want to be around people that can feed off of me, and I can feed off of you. You know, my glass is never empty when I'm around you. But if you keep taking, now then where do I refill myself? So that's why your environment plays a major role. Because if you're trying to become a millionaire, billionaire, or you trying to get your business to the next level, you need to be around people that have already established that kept their, like, you know, so you got to change.
What's crazy? You just really made me realize, like, you single-handedly made me realize why the downside of my 2024 existed. Is because I poured into too many glasses and nobody poured back. You know what I'm saying? I literally, as you were saying, I'm like, damn. Like, the only downfalls I've had in 2024 is pouring into the wrong motherfuckers. And I felt, you know, down at times where I felt low on energy. And I'm like, God damn, it's because I was hyping shit when I was, you know, helping these 10 motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
I've been there before. Yeah. Not anymore.
But not anymore. And that's what I said.
I hit 6 figures when I was 18. 6 figures. You know they say receipts? I got receipts.
Yeah, I know. You missed the receipt guy. You pull out the
phone
in a second.
I'm going to pull it out in 2 seconds. I got the tax returns. You know, that's why I left talking out publicly for the gurus, but now it's time to speak.
For sure.
To clear all these fake gurus.
For sure.
You know?
That's a fact.
Because that's what it is. I've noticed a lot of people talk to me. Oh, my bad. That's the spirits. They're all right.
Look, we having real conversation real time. We ain't editing shit. You know what I'm saying? So turn your chair a little bit because of the camera that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you giving this game, we gotta get you right. You know what I'm saying?
All right, no pressure.
Oh.
But as I was saying, we got receipts, we got closings, we got titles, we got deeds. We've been doing this since 2005, 2004, when I first launched. Got a little hiccups in between, you know.
Ain't nothing wrong with those.
But that's part of growth.
I think when it
you're
comes
going to
to
have people sabotage, you got people infiltrate you. But you got to learn and decipher a lot of things. And that's another part of my journey, you know, next clip we'll talk about.
Well, let me ask you a question, though. So why is it, because I'll let y'all say y'all perspective first. Why is it that we don't cut the people off sooner that need to be cut from our journey?
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I think sometimes we get so stuck on how long you know somebody. And you're too you're comfortable. Correct.
Day one.
Oh, I've been with we've been friends for like 10 years, you know. And sometimes, we've been friends for 10 years, but what have that 10 years done for me, you know? And sometimes we leave people in the box, or we stay in relationships only because of how long you've been with the person, and not the quality and you know, because you can be with someone for 10 years and you meet someone just for 2 days and has done for you more in that 2 day you met that person. Has done more for you.
Ain't that crazy?
And you've been in a relationship for 10 years and friends or whatever, and it gives you nothing. It just takes. And sometimes we just get comfortable. Attachment, that's the word. You get attached.
Attachment, and there's energy. So that's another thing you have to worry about as an entrepreneur. You always got to surround consciously. For the subconscious is there energy that you have. You cannot put your energy with people that's doing people wrong, because you'll be the next person to do wrong.
Correct. I agree.
You know?
But I think from my perspective, right? I've always been the alpha. I've always been the leader of whatever I'm in. So for me, when I have people around me, sometimes, and I found out last year that sometimes it's because of the trauma of me growing up with not a large family. So I always wanted a large family, right? But it's only me, my mom, my brother, my sister. That's the only family that actually contains my blood. Other than that, I know no one. So I've always adopted family that if you say you love me and you care about me, I'm adopting you into my personal family and we're gonna rock. The problem is I think I let people get away with too much because I didn't have a family. That's what I always wanted. You get what I'm saying? That makes sense. So I let people get too close to me.
So you tolerate.
Right. So when I call you my brother, I really mean that shit. And I go through the war with you. And, what I realized last year is I can't really do that anymore because it's like, y'all motherfuckers will drain you to the point and they want to. I didn't realize how, I don't want to use the word jealousy, but people want your position. People want what you have, even if what you have is not where you want to be.
Correct. And they don't know what you've gone through just to make it there.
Motherfuckers
just to get there.
Motherfuckers don't see the couches you slept on. Motherfuckers don't see the bullshit you had to go through, the bad relationships, the money you had to lose. All they see is the glitz and the glamour and the couple diamonds you bought, and they like, oh, that motherfucker got it going on. But it's like,
that's
bro,
a misdemeanor.
Blood shedding tears went to this motherfucker.
And there's people that won't once they see you elevating, they're gonna try to stop you from elevating, meaning they won't share anything anymore. They won't support you and stuff because now that they realize, oh shoot, you're gonna pass them, and they don't want you to overpass them, but they don't understand that this is what people mess up at. I'm a person, if you're pouring into me and I'm pouring into you, if I elevate, you elevate. You got to think about that. And some of us get selfish and get greedy and get jealous. Yeah. And then we miss on the bigger prize. We miss on, we're a team.
And you know what? That's why I started really started getting heavy with collecting a lot of artillery, a lot of guns, a lot of, I'm big on protecting the things that we have around us, our people and our energy. And now I'm to the point where, I'm not tolerating shit no more. Like I'm not tolerating, people coming in and taking our energy. I'm not tolerating the disrespect of taking advantage of our families. People that I call family, I'm not tolerating shit no more. I used to tolerate it back in the day, and now I'm like, I'm cutting you hard. Stop, man. Get the fuck out of here. Beat it. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to be protective of what we got.
About what we got, yeah.
How do y'all feel about the state? The past 3 days, there's been like 3 mass shootings, fucking terrorist attack, all type of shit. Like, how do y'all feel about the state of the world that we in, and how do we protect ourselves?
Man, honestly, I don't even
Stay
know.
vigilant.
Stay vigilant.
You got to always stay prepared at all times.
Yeah,
and that's one of my goals of 2025. I just really want to focus because I'm not. How would I say it? I didn't grow up in a hood to where I'm like it's automatic in me. So that's something I have to practice.
No, but you know what's crazy? It's not. I
have to practice like being aware of my environment. Because sometimes I'm in La La Land. I'm thinking everybody's okay.
You know what? Hi. I am so glad you said that. You said I'm in La La Land, and and you know what's crazy? I'm not saying the world was, things happen all the time, but man, when I, rest in peace to that little girl that got hit by that car recently in New Orleans. And when I seen that clip, man, I was like, fuck, how often are we just on our phones or not paying attention to our surroundings and we get caught up in craziness? Now, granted, what happened was just completely just fucked up, right? But man, we really do, that really woke me up and like, yo, when I'm driving, am I on my phone or am I paying attention? Or when I'm outside, am I on guard at all times? And we, like you said, we have to move militant nowadays. Like we can't live in a fantasy land anymore.
You gotta have 2 earbuds in your ear.
Yeah, you really can't.
Nah, you gotta have one at least. Have it low. Have the other ear.
And I think we gotta talk about, you know how most gurus they talking about financial literacy and they're talking about health and different things. But I don't think a lot of people are talking about security. You know, I feel like a lot of our women aren't secure.
No, it's single women with kids. You know, that's one of my concerns. I'm like, how do having cameras all over the house? Yeah, that's fine, but you still need that security. And how do us women that are single, that have kids and that do not have that male figure in the household, how can we protect ourselves in a way where it's effective and we have and we can protect our family that we have to cater to.
And I think we have to get into mentorship in that area too. Hiring people that can teach us how to be comfortable around guns, owning a gun to protect our household. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you got to be super militant with it. I'm just saying be comfortable being able to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Whether you want to start carrying mace, or they actually have this new gun out called the burner gun, where it shoots out
What it
like
does? What it does?
it shoots out like
A chemical or something?
they have chemical ones. Some of them shoot out pepper spray.
wow.
They shoot out like a little hard rubber balls. They it's like it doesn't kill you,
Like a
but
BB gun? Like a
no, it's not a BB gun, but it's for people that are scared of guns.
Okay.
And when you shoot the person, it affects them enough where you can get away. That's the point of it.
Okay.
Right. So I would start there. You know what I'm saying? But if you face that with a gun, of course you won't win. But it's a defense mechanism you could use to get out of the situation that you're in. My whole thing is we just have to learn how to protect ourselves, take self-defense classes. You know what I'm saying? Learn
Educate ourselves
100%
more on security. Like,
because who else gonna do it?
Listen, I'm one of the person that needs to learn that. Like, I've been trying to get into a gun range the longest, and everyone that I dated promised me to take me to gun range, and they never did.
Wow.
So now I can't depend on nobody. I got to depend on myself, and then this is something that I need for myself. So I am definitely down, and I know a lot of women that have that fear. But if we can get like a great instructor or someone that is like very educated and very patient, because it's going to take a lot of patience, especially with someone that has fear of guns but wants to protect their family, if that makes sense.
So let me ask you a question, right? Because coming from the streets, guns was like secondhand nature. I'm pretty sure for Ace it's pretty similar. We're used to it. Like, we've been seeing shootouts since we was fucking
That's
5
crazy.
and 6.
That's why a lot of therapy.
But we probably do need some therapy, to be honest. But I'm saying, like, where does your fear of guns come from?
Ooh, I don't know if I want to say that. It did come from
You keep it general, you know what I mean?
a family member, okay. It kind of traumatized me to the point where I just don't want to like hold a gun, and when I see it out, like if someone would I get this like
stillness,
anxiety, like, and if you try to hand it to me, I get the anxiety like covers me, and so I want to get out of that. I want to get comfortable to where I can just touch it, be one with it, and have it like part of my life, where I can be confident. I want to be confident when I touch it.
It's like grabbing your car keys.
Yeah.
And to you.
But you know what it is though? You know though, right? If you ever
Is this recording? Is this
Look, if you ever get into a real life situation, I'm gonna be honest, everything's gonna freeze no matter what. Like, when you ever get into a real life situation where you gotta bring your own gun out, you still technically freeze in a way. Now everything is muscle memory now. So the fact that I load my gun and I put one in the chamber all the time, I'm automatic with it. So even though I could be kind of stunned, my body is just gonna automatically be moving.
Ooh, I want to get like that.
You get what I'm saying? It's because I'm so used to it. It's muscle memory. So no matter what, in every situation, there is going to be a sense of, maybe some fear or whatever coming over you. You just know how you have to have that muscle memory to be operating in your fear and be like, I'm in survival mode now. I got to do what I have to do to survive in this moment.
So now, another thing I know, it's owning a gun is one thing, but then the safety part of it, meaning if you have kids in the home, that also is alarming. And so, like, I'm trying to see how can I balance it. I hear some people talk about they show their kids the gun, they educate the child also about
like a swimming
the gun.
pool.
Yeah.
And so, and some people are against it. So what is your opinion on that?
I feel like me personally, I love the Derek Grace method of teach your kids about guns, demystify guns while they're young so they understand that this is not a toy. This is something that you have to take serious and you have to respect it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do it in that way, then they're able to prepare for their future the proper way. Because look at the world we're living in. I mean, kids are getting snatched up. I mean, kids are going to school by themselves. They have to deal with different things. So I feel like if you teach them gun safety and really have a real, like, I'm not talking about playing around with it. I'm not talking about taking to the range one time. I'm talking about real militant, like every day we learn about it, we study it. Then we get into the application of, using it. And, you know what I'm saying? Like when you respect
Safety
it.
exits.
Right. You don't fear, you only fear what you don't understand.
Yeah.
So when you understand what you have and you understand the power of it, I feel like it demystifies it. And when you have the education in anything, you just operate better. So I feel like me personally, like I like to teach kids about guns because, especially if they're my kids, because, I feel like they should have that training already. Because if it's a situation where, we should have a protocol. If an emergency happens in your house, there should be a protocol of what to do. We can't wait till that day comes and be like, oh shit, I wish I did this, I wish I did that.
Grab the.
Just like the schools,
You know
like
where it's
preparing. Yeah.
Like I remember there's one story about this guy. I won't mention his name, but this one guy, they got a home invasion, right? And his girl had to hide in the closet, and she had the gun, and she was very nervous, right? And that made me think like, damn, we gotta go over protocols in our house if something were to ever happen. If something were to happen, so know how to go grab the gun, know where to position yourself, and be prepared for what's to happen. I'm not saying you won't be scared. I'm just saying be prepared and have protocols in your house in case of an emergency. It's like a fire drill.
Yeah.
Right? But we should have drills for every situation.
You know what would be a great idea? I don't know if someone want to take that idea.
Talk to me.
But someone who actually go to family homes and dissect their homes and create a safety plan.
So I do have, there's two people that come to mind. Miami Gun Doctors, one person that actually has that program, and then Rich, what was the name of your boy again? Shark. So Shark, we're going to actually talk to him after this episode. He's an instructor. He teaches people about gun safety, how to use guns. He can get you your license and things of that nature. But he also teaches people about that as well. So, collabing with people like that, and introducing him to more people. You know what I mean? Because I feel like this is one of the things that we're going to need in 2025 for survival.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea where people can actually get a professional to come in and look at the structure of the home and give them a plan, a emergency plan
Also
where
talk
they
about
can go.
the laws about
carrying. Correct.
Yes.
And they'll be educated.
with other states, the Castle Doctrine, things of that nature.
Stand your ground law. What does that actually mean? We're in the state of Florida.
I
Insurance.
think that's a great thing to educate your family and have someone come in and create a plan, a safety plan.
Yeah.
Oh, this person hides there. Look at the family and you create like a safety plan because everyone home is different when it comes to that. And so that'll be a great service to provide to the community. Just someone comes in, evaluate the home and who lives and do a whole plan, safety plan, just in case if something were to happen.
Like I said, people are scared of what they don't know. So when you start learning about insurance, gun insurance, and how for $50 a month, you know what I'm saying, you can have insurance where if you have to protect yourself, automatically comes with a lawyer, automatically comes with certain things. You know what I mean? So that eliminates a little bit of, $15 a month. See, $15 a month.
15.
So
Ooh,
so it
nice.
comes with protection where you're protected, and now you're more likely to use it in a state of emergency versus overthinking. You know what I'm saying? Then you have you have insurance. You hire an instructor. You learn about it. So just the more you demystify the whole entire
Protocol.
protocol,
If
knowing your
something
laws.
happens, police involved,
Right.
knowing what to say to not
That's so
incriminate
important.
you. Even though you're the victim, you can still incriminate yourself.
100%. So when you have all this knowledge, I feel like it gets you prepared for a real life situation, and even help your family prepare. And then you can go through a situation where you don't have to go through the bullshit, whether it's the court system, you know what I mean? Whether it's how to deal with the cops, whether it's how to deal with hiring a lawyer, it just eliminates all the stress. So when you get a gun, you should know about all the aspects of it, not just how to use it and protect yourself, but also the laws and how to operate that whole protocol, because it goes through a whole system when you have to use it.
That's definitely a need for 2025. You
I've
guys
been in that system
add that
before.
part of your list.
Yeah. We don't need that. So yeah, I think going to 2025, that's what we got to focus on. We're gonna focus on health, wealth, and security. You know what I mean? I think that's what we got going on. So back to the event. When is the event? What's the date of the event?
February 2nd.
So February 2nd, we're going to be at Attractive Mindset Studio, and we're going to do something a little different. Like, not only we're going to have the greatest vision boards, but man, we're going to have a great experience because we got podcasting. We got 6 and 7 figure earners talking about how to level up in 2025. We're going to have
Delicious food.
crazy food. Gotta have the food. Come on, what are we talking about? Gotta have the food there. You know what I mean? Ace gonna provide.
Comida.
Ace gonna provide the. Let me see.
Patiri. You know, we got Patiri
right here.
cocktail right there.
You know, we gonna have a couple cups. You know what I'm saying? We can go overboard. I don't want none of y'all leaning over, but you know, we gonna have a Patiri in the building. And we're gonna have a great time, man. Because you know, we're building community, we're building culture.
Correct.
And we're ready to take over 2025 because we don't have time. Listen, let me take these glasses over first. Look, if you are not contributing to the success of what I got going on 2025, I'm not picking up the phone. Don't call me. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we in a damn time where we don't have time for bullshit.
No, we
can't.
I've been
and people like, oh, Pete, pick up the phone. No, fuck picking up the phone. If you are not adding to my life, accept that voicemail. You know what I'm saying? And call it a day because I'm not picking up. I'm done. You know what I mean? And I feel like we all have to get to that point. Like, I'm done over-servicing people that don't deserve it.
That's a good over-servicing.
Real right.
And that's something I put on for me on 2025, especially part of my vision board, is this year is literally building me. You know, doing whatever makes me happy, whatever is going to build me. Because sometimes we spend time building, like, other people's businesses and then we don't get that back, you know, because especially if you have an open heart, if you're a good person and you just want to see people win,
you're gonna get abused.
But you got to think, you got to think about it. Not everybody wants to see you win as well. And especially when you are a giver, you have to be amongst givers as well. Because if you are amongst takers, guess what happened? They're going to suck you dry. And then it's like you're left with nothing for yourself. And so this is me 2025. You know, I'm building me, and everyone that supports me building me because they know they can benefit from that, you know, because we're going to be pouring into each other. Let's go. Let's win. We're going to win together. But if you're not bringing nothing to the table, I'm sorry, you can't eat.
Damn, that was deep because, like, fuck. I looked at my past 4 years. I'm like, yo, you know how many millions of dollars I made, motherfuckers? I made them 10 times more than I fucking made. And I'm like, damn, them motherfuckers just like, all right, thank you, peace out. And it's like, God damn, no, seriously, like, yo, people really.
No, for real.
Man, so, you know, I guess the lesson is, you know, secure your own future, hang around the right people, build community.
Correct.
And, you know, stay with people. So y'all want to leave anything with the people, you know, drop a gem for the people, you know, for moving forward and we can get out of here.
Whenever you want to sip Patiri cocktail.
So this episode brought to you by Patiri cocktail.
Patiri cocktail. That's it.
Patiri cocktail.
That's what we doing today.
All right, go ahead, Miss Sandra Love. Lead the people with something great so we can get out of here.
Well, I just want you to stay encouraged and just remember, today is the best day of your life. Always.
And that's Digital Billionaires Club, and we out of here.
Nice.
Our first podcast.
You are natural.
Oh, shit.
Once you get into your element.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. I gotta get.
You know.
Because you know, what should I talk about? Should I talk about the restaurant? Should I talk about this? Should I announce the party arena business? I don't know. He said, but no, you're not.